Welcome back, everybody. It's 4:30, and we're going to be starting our final session. How new advances in AI are shaping the legal profession. Welcome back, Daphne.
Thank you. Happy to
Hi,
be
Pam.
here.
How are you doing
Everyone.
today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Our pleasure. Thank you for joining us. Monica, good to see you again. Welcome back.
Thank you.
So we really got the dream team. This is day 2 of our 2-day summit. You guys drew the headliner spot, final presentation at the end of the day. So what do you think, Daphne? You want to do some intros and make a start?
Yeah, I think you saved the best for last. So I'm
100%.
looking forward to our presentation on how new advances in AI are shaping the legal profession. And just a quick note for all the lawyers out there watching, it has been accredited by the LSO for 1 hour of professionalism content. So I'll go ahead and get started and introduce these new faces on the screen. So Pamela Wickersham is head of product at Supio, bringing over 15 years of experience in document management systems and legal technology. Her experience includes a pivotal role as a VP of product and engineering at Litify, where she spearheaded the development of DocRio, a cutting-edge document management and generation software. Throughout her career, Pam has been dedicated to optimizing document workflows and creating solutions that address customer needs. Outside of work, Pam enjoys spending time with her 3 dogs and visiting friends in various cities she's lived in, including New York City, Chicago, Miami, Los Angeles, and now Seattle. Welcome,
How do
Pam.
you survive New York City with 3 dogs?
I just had 2 then, but it wasn't a lot easier. Yeah, and you also get hit up for directions. It's a dead giveaway that you're from there, and everyone needs to know where the train is at. So I would actually say that's the hardest part about
Are
walking
the
dogs in New
are
York
these
City.
dogs that you carry around in a purse, or are they like full dogs?
I wouldn't actually call them full dogs, but I do make them walk on their own, except for the 15-year-old. She gets picked up every once in a while. So yeah, they're little dogs though. A
We're
lot of
big
fun.
fans of dogs at our firm, so that's good to hear. We can
Yeah.
Us
trust
too. We actually sometimes I have them in at the office, so it's a lot of fun for everybody.
we can trust you now. If you got 3 dogs.
I appreciate it. I feel the same way. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I could talk about that for hours, but we'll get on to our next guest speaker who's here with us today as well. We have Monica Goyle. Thank you for joining us. She is the Director of Legal Innovation for Caravel Law. In her role as Director of Legal Innovation, she evaluates new technologies and implementation within the firm. She's overseen the implementation of their integral contract and document automation system, design and implementation of their client onboarding process, and the implementation of corporate services solutions. She is a part-time lecturer at the TMU Lincoln Alexander Law School, where she teaches critical approaches to data, algorithm, and science in the law. Monica was formerly an adjunct professor at Osgoode Hall Law School. In 2023, Caravel Law was an excellence awardee for Nexus Canada Award for Best Use of Technology in a Law Firm in the last 2 years. Monica was nominated for Canadian Lawyer Most Influential Lawyer in the Changemaker history. So quite the background there. We're thrilled to have you, Monica. Thanks for joining us. Now, Russell, I believe you will have all
Everybody's been listening to me
acquainted with
all day. Nobody
him.
wants to hear you talk about me anymore.
And I'm happy to join this presentation as well. I'm the marketing director at Russell's firm, and I'm excited to share my perspective on using artificial intelligence for marketing. So without further ado, I'll pass it over to Monica to get started with
Yeah.
the intro to AI.
Yeah, we're going to do a quick recap. We've done a number of programs on AI, but Monica, can you give us an overview, and then maybe we'll get Pam to give us her thoughts?
Yeah, so I was just thinking about like so when we're talking about quick recap, I was just thinking about like what's happening in the last year, and there's actually a ton of stuff.
It's like last year, last month, this week, right? How far
I
back are
know.
we going to go?
I know. Well, I figured this is an annual summit, right? So
Right.
but just kind of, maybe some people weren't, at the last year's summit, but just kind of, when I think about kind of what's happening in AI and what I'm seeing is a lot of new technologies emerging that are incorporating generative AI into their solutions. So there's existing legal tech incorporating AI into their solutions, and then there is the very new stuff that's emerging that's coming out. And there's a lot, but I think that there's some, you know, kind of categorizing that we can do around what the generative AI solutions are doing. And so they're really good at summarizing information, extracting information, generating text, searching for information. And so, I give that as kind of a basis because when you're looking and you're thinking about what am I doing, these are kind of tasks or things that we do as lawyers where generative AI could be really useful. And so from that, I also see, 'cause some, I think, large categories of kind of new technologies that are emerging and or have emerged over the last year, and they've gotten really sophisticated. One is contract review. So I never knew that I would need a Word plugin that could review a contract, but there's now, I've looked at 20 of these solutions over the last year. So it's just uh, inundated. The market is inundated with these different solutions. And there's, I think, some notable ones that I could like call out. One is a Canadian one called Spellbook. We've been using it. We've been watching them in their kind of journey. It's a great solution. Um, the other kind of ones that I think are nice in this category is Ivo dot AI. It's similar but a little bit different kind of functionality. If you're in-house counsel or you're looking at a lot of contracts, Leah is a nice one to look at. Then the other category that I see kind of emerging is AI timekeepers. So, I mean, there's been this promise of like, AI being used to help lawyers with timekeeping. And now I'm seeing some solutions on the market that seems to actually be that these solutions might actually work. And so how they work is that they work in the background. Um, and they help you kind of create those dockets. So they like actually will tell you, okay, you spent like 6 minutes working on email, you know, uh, 10 minutes in this document, and help you to draft those time entries and that you would then review and kind of then post. The other area is legal research. So LexisNexis, Thomson Reuters are kind of getting into that. We're going to talk later about legal research, so I'll kind of hold my thoughts about that till later. The other category of like tech that I'm seeing is litigation support. So like going back to that, summarizing information, extracting information, generating text. So there's all kinds of new tools that are coming up where you can upload like for example, your documents from a trial. So your evidence, your discovery transcript, your pleadings, and then use it to create motion materials, create help with writing briefs. So there's a software called ClearBrief that does a good job around that. There's also that kind of like legal research memos and so forth that you can and I'm thinking about Alexei. Alexei is a company that's an AI legal research memo kind of platform, but also the new kind of functionalities from LexisNexis and Co-Counsel from Townsend Reuters also give that kind of support as well. And then the other, kind of category is contract analysis, where you can upload a large number of documents and that could be for due diligence or it could be for e-discovery. And just seeing a lot of solutions kind of offering that as a offering as well. So that is kind of like my kind of quick, I would say recap of what I'm seeing in AI over the last year. Um,
Pam, I think we all have a pretty good sense as to what AI is, but maybe you can break it down for some of our audience. When we talk about AI, what are we talking about, and where do you see that we're at right now?
Yeah, I was actually just thinking about that too. Like the past year, it's almost too wide, right? Like so much has changed. I would say a year ago, I was just starting to use ChatGPT, like more, more from a single user personal way. And now I see it's really becoming an everyday part of what we're doing at work. And I think the big learning for me at Supio is what is AI good at and what is AI not good at? And how do we sort of lean into that? I heard someone describe this the other day as taking those mechanical tasks and making them mechanical. So using AI to do those things that it's good at, like some logic, some reasoning. With the new model that came out last week, calling it chain of thought, it's really able to do some of these complex tasks that you would ask a paralegal to do or you would ask an assistant to do, and really getting used to just trying it for those things. I think the main thing that I see with our users and being in product is I'm just encouraging people to ask questions to see if using chat against your document set can get the information that you're looking for, finding inconsistencies in data, being able to see what is this missing, or do we have missing receipts, do we have missing records. It's actually really good at finding those things. It's really good at comparing data, and it's really good at sort of helping you hone in on the thing that you need out of the 20 pages, hundreds of pages. So it's really making that a lot simpler, and watching that happen and watching that click for people. We're also watching people learn how to use these tools better, learning how to phrase questions, refine questions. I see this when I'm looking through logs of what people are doing, and it's really, really great just to really see like how people are teaching themselves AI and how they're using tools like Supio to do that.
Yeah, and let's go to our first poll question. In which areas of the legal profession do you think AI has the most potential to make an impact? And Pam, I want to thank you and Supio. You're one of our supporters and sponsors here today, and helping and donating the money to the Denise House, the women's shelter. So I deeply appreciate your company's contribution and support of this cause, which is a really important local shelter for women who are suffering from their victims of domestic violence. So thank you again for your support today.
Thank you.
Okay, so there you go. There's a recap of, we could spend an hour just doing a recap, but we've got a lot to cover off. Let's see what our audience is thinking in terms of impact. Legal research, almost 70%. Document review, we're seeing a lot of that in just about every area of law now. 57%. Contract analysis, Monica talked a bit about that already. 43%. Predictive analysis, 31%. I use this part constantly. I'll have an argument that I'm going to go to motions court with, and I'll ask AI, what are my blind spots? What am I not seeing? What's opposing counsel going to argue contrary to this? And it almost always comes up with 3 or 4 points that are relevant. They may not be the strongest points, but they're things that I may have overlooked. So it's really super powerful tool for that. Client communication, we're seeing that more often. Screening emails, screening reviews, responding to reviews, and other. You can put that in the Q&A box, and we'll take a look at the other. All right. Well, document prep. This is a huge part of what lawyers do day in and day out. Lots of discussion about how we're going to bill for this. We're taking our financial statement in the family law proceeding, which may have taken a law clerk or a lawyer 2.5 hours, and we're getting it down to 6-7 minutes, which is incredible efficiency. Pam, let's walk through document prep and what you're seeing and the kind of services your company is offering.
Yeah, with what we're offering, I think what we really focus on doing is taking structured or unstructured data and turning that into structured data. So how do we sort of hone in on the parts of a document that you need to extract to create that disclosure summary, to create all the documents that you need down the line, and do that really quickly. So pouring over lots of different formats of receipts or expenses, all of your intake data, instead of just putting that, maybe merging that into another document, we're also creating like basically a data repository for you to keep using that data so that you can chat against that data, so that you can help that in drafting new documents. I think that if you get that information out of sort of those, I would call them dead data sources, and into active data sources, all of that then is there for you to use for the entire case, for you to ask those certain questions, Russell, that you were just talking about, but also to draft the documents down the line. And that's what we really are focused on at Supio right now. How can we help you not only just extract that information, but then action on it, to be creating those next documents, to be creating those briefs, to help you summarize the case. Every single thing that you need to do after you do the data collection to make sure that you have a case and verify that case. How can we also help you with all of those downstream processes and make that really, really, really simple? The advancements that are coming out are constantly improving, and we just see the ability to basically draft every single document type that you need, even helping with client communication, helping with keeping your executive team at the firm in the loop. Everything that you need, you can do with our drafting software, because we have such rich data in the beginning that we're helping you collect and sort through and really get to the bottom of.
Yeah, I really like the intake forms. It saves me about 20 minutes in terms of traditional information I would get from the clients already ready for me. I can start thinking about their problems. They tell me they have an outstanding court order or separation agreement. I'll ask for that even before the first meeting, where ordinarily I would find out about that halfway through the meeting, and we may have to reschedule it because they don't have it handy. So that's effective. And I really like the financial briefs that Supio is producing, with the hyperlinks to the briefs, all assembled in a digital format. My law clerks find that a super effective way to process the information.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
great work. Daphne, marketing, what are you seeing at your end? You got some surprises for us tonight or what?
I do. Yeah, so similar to how it's helping the lawyers and clerks, it's also increasing efficiency in the marketing department as well. So one of the ways that it does this is with image generation. So we use a tool called Midjourney to create images that don't exist otherwise through Discord, which is very cool. The prompts can be very specific down to the image dimensions, what kind of camera model the photo would have been taken with, and different artistic styles. So one example of this is we have a blog, familyllb.com, where we cover different family law cases. And we did a story on Trudeau. And rather than paying to use an image of Trudeau,
for the non-Canadians, Trudeau's our prime minister, sort of like your president, just to let you know.
Yes. So we were able to generate an image that kind of looks like it was taken from paparazzi of Trudeau and his now, I believe, ex-wife. And another one that we were able to do is very popular Taylor Swift. This actually is not her. This image was also generated by AI. So just a couple of really cool uses of the tool, and it can get very accurate. So
and without AI, we would have to get copyrighted images, which creates a whole new problem, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We would have to get the rights to them and pay for them as well. Another way that AI helps with editing is if you have an image of something and it's not large enough to post on social media, or the dimensions aren't right, whatever the case, you can use Photoshop, or I believe even Canva now, to create the rest of the image that wasn't there otherwise. So super cool tools. Another one is, this is the surprise that Russ has been hinting at, is the video avatars are very cool. So we, maybe I'll just show the video. We'll just show the video and I'll talk about it after.
Thank you for joining our third annual Family Law Now Live virtual summit. I'm Russell's avatar. AI enables me to communicate with clients throughout the world in any language. Merci d'avoir participé à notre troisième sommet virtuel annuel sur le droit de la famille, désormais en direct. Je suis l'Avatar de Russell. AI ermöglicht es mir, mit Kunden auf der ganzen Welt in jeder Sprache zu kommunizieren. Gang siening kanjia woman de di sanjianian dujia ting fafengui, وشيلا ساي اير de tuxiang. أقدر نتكلم العربية. ये मुझे दुनिया भर के ग्राहकों के साथ किसी भी भाषा में संवाद कराने की अनुमति देता है. We hope you've enjoyed the summit so far.
That avatar looks a little angry. I don't know.
Yeah, the video technology, I'm not sure it's quite believable yet. We're getting there. But what I find really cool is the voice cloning. I think the audio was pretty on point. It does sound like you. So very cool, and also probably brings up some ethical issues and security concerns as well, which I won't dive
Deepfakes, yeah,
into
for sure.
today. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so if I get a call from you now and I don't trust the content, I'll know exactly
Right.
what happened.
Only yeah,
Go
don't-
ahead. I'm really more of a listener.
Here. Serious going off on my end. The AI is taking over here.
Okay, I'll also just talk briefly about chatbots. So on your website, it's you're able to use AI now to talk to clients, and you are able to also put in parameters. So do this, don't do this, so that you are able to still kind of control the conversation and what your chatbot is saying. You can put in the purpose, the intention, or the end goal of the conversation. So it's really customizable, which is really cool for helping clients when any time of day, really. And then lastly, I'll just touch on social media briefly. So various different platforms are embracing AI and putting in their own features, their own tools, their own optimize this description, make it better using AI. And you can also use AI to create captions and find hashtags that are effective. So there's a ton of uses, and I could go on, but I think I'll leave it there for now.
It's really endless what you can do with AI and marketing calendars, you name it, coming up with ideas. Really super competitive marketing with it, and it's all tailored towards search and the algorithms. So very powerful tool. Thank you for sharing those, Daphne. Let's go to our next poll question. Have you used AI powered tools for research? If so, how would you rate their effectiveness? And just before we wait, we'll give everybody a moment to answer this. Pam or Monica, any comments about AI and marketing?
Yeah, we've been using it a lot for blog posts, like kind of a first draft of a blog post. So, a marketing person might talk to a lawyer, has gotten some points from the lawyer, puts that into Chat GPT or into one of the other kind of solutions, and then generates that first draft, sends it over to the lawyer. They can review it. It's really changed how we are kind of generating some of the materials. Before we would have somebody dedicated to kind of writing for us. So it changes things a lot.
I'm not finding it's replacing the marketing department, but it's making them a lot more efficient, and we can produce a lot more content. Where traditionally we would have a research lawyer and a lawyer do the first drafts, and now you're saving all that time. Pam, what are you seeing at your end?
I like to use it for the prompt engineering and to really give it that context. I think I work with a lot of very technical people, with engineers and product managers, and we have a hard time sometimes explaining features to our audience. And we can say, take what I'm giving you and explain this to a legal professional, explain this to a paralegal, and we can really frame that in a way that takes out the engineering speak, and really puts that in a context that they understand. And that is so incredibly powerful. Same thing, it's not replacing the need for people, it's just helping us achieve what we're trying to achieve faster and giving us a lot of new ideas to consider.
Yeah, all right, so let's see what our audience thinks. Thank you, Pam. Not very effective at the top end of these poll results. Haven't used it at all. See, but 70%, that's surprising actually, because a lot of the research providers in Canada are already using, you may be using it, you don't even know it. A lot of their software has it built into the back end. Monica, what we need to know about legal research and AI?
Well, it's gonna change very soon. I mean, it's already changing. So what's just recently this past summer, Westlaw, I mean, Thomson Reuters has integrated into CoCounsel Westlaw. So if you can do, for example, legal research memos, you can generate them through CoCounsel, and it's going to be pulling in cases from Westlaw. So, one of the concerns I think that lawyers have is about hallucination. So there's those famous case like in New York where the lawyer used ChatGPT for legal research and it made up case citations. And then there was a lawyer in BC again who used ChatGPT and again, there was these cases that were found in their materials that were made up. Um, so with using a platform like CoCounsel or even Lexis is now, I don't know if they've launched it or I know that they're going to very soon, something called Lexis Plus AI, and that's their version of CoCounsel, and it also has generative AI, and it also is linking to their repository of cases. And so this is going to change the paradigm of how we do legal research because I remember, and probably you do too, Russell, where, you would do these, like, this is what I would do as an articling student, is these legal research memos, right? And it's like, what's the issues? What's the conclusion? What's the facts? What's the
You
law?
remember there used to be libraries and we'd pull a book off the shelf,
Yes, I do remember
photocopy
that.
all the cases.
Yes. And that was a faster way of like doing legal research than, trying to search for something on these platforms. So not only is AI kind of being incorporated into Westlaw and Canley and all those platforms, but now they're layering on top of that the generative AI, and that's going to allow you to do kind of this, I would say, like level 2 kind of activity. So the legal research memo, kind of litigation arguments. So there's another tool that we've been looking at called Alexi. It's a Canadian company as well. They've raised a lot of money recently, and that is like basically it generates instant memos. So it generates an instant legal research memo. You can then also, it has an arguments feature. You can like ask it a question and say, what are the arguments that the other side could come up with, and that kind of ideation is really powerful. Being able to ask a tool and say, hey, can you come up with some ideas of arguments that the other side is going to come up with, or ideas or things that I haven't thought about. And so the tools are kind of, can be used in that way as well. So this is, it's just coming out. One thing to note about pricing. So with CoCounsel and with Lexis Plus AI, there is going to be, you have to have a subscription for Westlaw or Lexis Plus, and then you buy on top of it this CoCounsel or this Lexis Plus AI that comes layered on top of it. So it's actually um, it's an additional cost, and so it can get a little bit pricey. So I mean that's one thing that I'm noticing with these tools is that the costs are quite high. Um, and I have heard anecdotally, I haven't seen any announcement, but supposedly Canley is also working on something, but it's not clear when that would come out.
Yeah. The Avianca Air case in the US was big. We've got some articles in the actual case Daphne's going to put into the chat. The biggest fear initially is this hallucinating AI, right? They're just making up cases as they go along. And I'm concerned, you hear about these tools that we're describing, lawyers of our generation, Monica, we can second guess what we're getting.
Yeah.
New lawyers, they're not,
Yeah.
they haven't developed that muscle skill or that resilience, right? They're just,
Yeah.
they don't have that.
Well,
Maybe they do. They don't have that ability to say, I'm going to question this and double check and know how to do the proper research.
Yeah. So one thing that's with all of these solutions that I mentioned, Alexa, um, Lexis Plus AI, CoCounsel, they are going to give you the link to the case.
Yeah.
So you can go and you can click on the link and you can verify that this is actually a real link. So Alexa has links to Canly, Lexis Plus AI has links to their repository of cases. And Lexis Plus, Lexis has said that they are guaranteeing that the links are actual cases. So to kind of address the concern that you're talking about, Russell.
Yeah. But that's still your reputation, right? You can't.
Yeah, no, you have to double
Lawyer
check
going to
for
motions
sure.
court and saying, "Oh yeah, my law clerk prepared that." The judge has no patience for that.
Yeah.
And you're seeing judges in the U.S. Requiring lawyers to certify, what's been prepared by AI and what hasn't, and the court's really taking this seriously. Pam, what are you seeing on the research side?
Yeah, I think a bunch of things kind of come up through that. We have a strong focus on citations and references with everything that we do within our platform for that exact same reason. I always say trust but verify, and that's such an important step that can't be skipped. The citation will point you to exactly the document that either you uploaded or is a part of your case. You need to be checking those links. I mean, yes, if you know that that's absolutely factual because you've already read that, that's great. But everything else has those citations, and we're making that front and center in our platform so that you can always make sure that this was referenced. This is a true part of the case. There's no hallucination going on. And I also call those guardrails, like really understanding where AI is good and where AI is not so good, and providing that feedback. There's a lot of tools that you're using. Maybe there's a thumbs up, there's a thumbs down, there's feedback. I would say, as someone who builds product, use that. If you're getting something that doesn't make sense, that you're not understanding, make sure that feedback is getting back to those products and is really making its way back to these tools, because we're relying upon that, and we're also relying upon our users to still take those measures to validate everything that they're getting.
So risk management, Pam, what safeguards are you putting in place? What are you seeing? What are best practices?
Yeah, I was going to say this one really flows into the next one quite nicely. Along with those guardrails that we're talking about, I think the other thing to really keep in mind is with the tools that you're using, are these closed models? What sorts of data are you sharing with AI? Everything that we do at CPO is in a closed model. It's contained within your account, your platform, even case between case that's contained or that's closed, because we don't want certain facts from this case making its way over here. And so I would just say that you need to really ask a lot of those questions when you're evaluating these tools, how it's built, if there's data sharing, even how the own products are using that data or anonymizing it to train and make these models better over time. So again, just a lot of questions that you need to be asking, and a lot of measures that we're taking to really keep data separate and distinct, and really private. And I think that that's a really important piece of this.
Yeah, 100%. Monica, risk management?
Yeah, so one of the things, I was saying before, there's a lot of new solutions, and they're being built on GPT, like OpenAI's GPT, so generative AI. So those models, or Anthropic, Claude, and what I'm seeing is kind of companies, a lot of legal tech companies, moving away from building their own AI models. So they're relying on these third-party AI models. So what you kind of need to look at when you're looking at these solutions is you need to ask them, how is the data? Where is the data going in the solution? So, not only do you need to look at how does the legal tech vendor treat your data, because they're saving the data in their servers, but they're also then using these third-party models. So you need to understand what is the terms of service between those third-party providers, and how is the data kind of going in? Is it being encrypted as it goes into these models? Is it do they have access to that data? Do they retain that data? Are they using it for training of their models? So these are the things that you kind of have to think about with, I think, with the, new generative AI. I think the other thing is that we're seeing is that this AI, it's accelerating kind of technology use and adoption, and it's like we're becoming more users of tech in a way. And so security, privacy of data, these are big things that all law firms need to be thinking about. And we need to be thinking about the tech is it's a lot more complex, so it's sometimes harder to understand what's going on. And then the people, there's a lot of bad actors, and they've become a lot more sophisticated. So I think this like data security, cybersecurity, that's something that we're paying a lot of attention to in our firm. But I think it's just, it's something that I will see. I think we're going to see a lot more firms kind of paying more attention to it, becoming more sophisticated on how they're going to handle that.
Yeah, I agree. So this poll question is, what is your biggest concern about the integration of AI in the legal profession? We'll give everybody just a second to complete their answers. I just noticed, the Apple iPhone came out last week, 2 weeks ago, and it's got AI built into it, and Apple's saying they've got their own closed data system. Pretty incredible, right? Like I'm an Apple fan, but you've got to wonder how powerful is this tool going to be once it comes out, if it's at your fingertips. All right, let's see what our audience is thinking. Thank you, Daphne, for putting that poll up. All right, what is your biggest concern? So job displacement, 10%, ethical implications, 18%, data privacy, yes, it's always a big one, especially with lawyers, our duty to maintain our clients, solicitor client privilege is 31%. Accuracy and reliability, 21%. I think if we ran that poll 6 months ago, it probably would be over 50. So we're seeing some improvements. Cost implementation, 13% other. Just put that in the Q&A box. So thank you for submitting your poll answers in. Now we're going to talk about the rules of professional conduct. Daphne's going to throw up a few rules on the screen here. And I'm mindful of our time. We're probably going to go to about 5:15, which would be 45 minutes, so we're still good. So for Ontario lawyers, these are the rules you want to be mindful of. There's a number of other ones. These are the ones that jump out to me. I'm just going to review a few of them. Most of these rules are consistent throughout Canada and most of the US, same principles and ethical requirements. Competence and duty to provide efficient legal services. So I think we have a duty to start adapting this technology, especially if it's going to be a cost savings to our client and it's going to make us more efficient. 6.1 is a big one, supervision. So business owners and law firm partners and managers need to be supervising their staff, their law students and articling students, and their associate lawyers, making sure no corners are being cut and all these staff members are using it properly. 3.3 is always a big one, confidentiality and privilege, protecting clients' data. We heard Pam talking about a closed system. You want to question what security measures are putting in place when you're using this program. Are you revealing confidential information publicly through AI if you're punching your client's data in? Huge concern. 2.1, responsibility to the profession. So we want to maintain the integrity of the profession, and all lawyers have that duty. So just look at Avianca, the storm that caused for that particular law firm and the legal profession. Just one mistake on a factum could really reflect poorly on our profession. 3.6, fees. This is always a difficult one. They need to be fair and reasonable. So that financial statement that used to take your law clerk 3 hours to prepare, you might have spent 20 minutes reviewing it, might now be down to 6 or 10 minutes. It's that efficient. So you're not going to be able to bill that 3 hours anymore. It's contrary to your rules of professional conduct. So my prediction is we're probably going to see a lot of services move towards block fees. Now that financial statement is going to be $750. How we prepare it and how we do it efficiently, that's our responsibility, but you're agreeing to pay me this fixed amount for this particular service. It's not much different than real estate lawyers and other legal service providers who do block fees. So I think the family bar may start moving towards that. I know Brian Galbraith is a big fan of block fees, and he's been advocating it for years, and maybe AI will move us in that direction. Any thoughts about these rules or comments, Monica?
I think that your comment about the block fees is interesting. I've seen a lot of discussion in other kind of conferences or discussion panels that I've been on about moving towards fixed fees, like AI kind of changing the paradigm there. And I think it's still an unknown, but what I do think is happening is I think there's maybe some more certainty. I think one of the things with legal is that it's sometimes difficult to estimate what the fixed fees would be. With AI, it seems that there's more certainty around how long something is going to take. So it will be interesting to see. I think there's that white paper that you put into the chat. I encourage everybody to look at it. It's kind of the Law Society setting out what how they think we should be approaching it. It's got this checklist, and they do say, we should be using the AI, but we should be using it responsibly.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And the back end of all that is, how do you pay your staff, right? If somebody spends, the law clerk spends 20 minutes and the lawyer spends 10 minutes, how are they being compensated for their time? Are you going to have enough work to keep them busy if you're docketing a 0.1 when ordinarily that'd be half their morning preparing that financial statement? So I think it's going to make lawyers a lot more efficient, for sure. It's not going to replace us, but you need to get on top of this for sure. Thank you. New advances in AI, Pam. What do you got, and what do you got for us?
I don't know if they're new, but maybe new to the legal profession. I just think that with, again, constantly changing models and constantly changing, honestly, even confidence in the system, with more and more people being willing to try these tools, we're just making sure that we're providing as much value as we possibly can, starting from extracting data, making it easier to use your data, but now also making it easier to draft documents, making it easier to create summaries, to understand where you are in a case, to understand if you're missing information in a case. It's like every single thing that you'd be sort of tasking to a paralegal, you can do that automatically. And then the next thing that we're looking at is really how to provide some of those insights. So we're encouraging you to talk to your data and talk to your documents like you would anyone at your law firm. But how could we do some of that for you automatically? How could we pull out what could be the next step? How could we make some of those suggestions about what to do next? I, again, heard one of our customers talk about how we're just leveling the playing field. They had varying levels of paralegals, very, very advanced, very senior, and almost completely new, just starting their career. But it's helping them level up, helping them train. There's so many uses in it that I wouldn't have even foreseen with our software that I keep hearing our customers tell me about, which, as someone who's building product, that's something I absolutely love when we find a new use case. But it's helping them get their paralegals up to speed faster, helping them understand where to dig in on the case, and not having to have 10 years of expertise to do that. So I'm really excited about the way that I see that shaping my software's future, but also every other piece of technology out there. And it's building my confidence in using AI in my daily life too. So I think it's a really high bar for what we're producing, and I hope we keep building products that delight our customers.
Is CPO still producing financial statements?
Yes. Yep. We're still producing financial statements.
We had an audience question about that. Monica, what do you think? New advances, what are you seeing?
It's like, what am I not seeing? It's like there's advances in like every area, and we talked about marketing. We're
like
actually
a fire hose, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, oh my God, there's so much new tech. Keeping up with it is actually a challenge. What I think what I think for a lawyer, kind of looking at the market and trying to understand what they should do, how they should tackle it, I think they should look at their own, like how comfortable they with using or adopting the legal tech. If they're not, I would start with like marketing and sales. Like we're piloting some solutions around BD and sales and stuff like that. So there's a lot of like tech that can be used for that. MS Copilot. We've been doing a pilot with MS Copilot. MS Copilot is amazing. It's got a lot of really interesting functionality. For example, I can input like a um, template of what I want a presentation to be, and it will generate that first draft of a presentation. And it's got other kind of functionality, like helping you generate emails for when you're doing your emails, it's kind of baked into Outlook. You want to do a form, you can use MS Copilot to like help you generate that kind of MS form, Microsoft form. So that I think is really useful. I just recently was playing around with a new tool by Google called Notebook LM. And this is like a free kind of solution, but some of the examples that I've seen is like people uploading a book, like maybe they wrote a book and they want to create a podcast from the book. So they upload the book and then they have this Notebook LM generate the podcast for them. So I think there's a lot of like ways we can use the software that if we're not comfortable using it in our legal practice, you can start there. But I would just start. Like there's just so much out there, and I would just start.
I was
We're
gonna
gonna-
say something really similar of just try it, right? If you have ideas, just try it because I'm even surprised with what some of the things it can do. But within that, because people are hungry to try this, make sure there are tools that you're sanctioning at your firm. That's how you want people to be using AI. That there's not data leakage. That they're not trying this on their own with different tools. And so I would say that people are craving that, and I think that that's an exciting part of it too, of how staff are kind of pushing their firms to be prepared for this.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of practical, we're going to find all the time to consume all this content people are producing, right? I guess we'll get the AI to listen to the podcast for us, but lots of practical tools, right? Slack AI can, summarize your team's messages going back 3-4 years. Zoom AI, there's lots of AI modules that go to Zoom. So if we're having a collaborative meeting, it'll take notes, it'll break it down into chapters, it'll have to-dos for specific members. They'll have sentiment analysis, who participated, what was the pace of the meeting. Super insightful. You can use all that for your intake too, to monitor how they're dealing with new clients. So really, really helpful. So let's go to our next poll question. How do you see AI transforming the legal profession in the next 5 years? And I guess, Daphne, you're seeing constant new ways to use marketing tools with AI.
I am, yeah, similar. I love the fire hose analogy. I think that's so accurate. There's just so many tools, and all the companies and everyone is scrambling to try to stay ahead of the curve. But yeah, it's so exciting, and I'm not sure if I launched the right poll here. I just want to make sure.
No, this is the wrong one. We want to go to poll 5.
Okay, sorry guys.
Yeah.
There we go.
How do you see AI transforming the legal profession in the next 5 years? Sorry, Daphne, I thought I messaged that to you.
Oh, my bad. I might have missed it.
No worries. All right, so dramatic transformation, moderate changes, minimal effect, no impact at all. We'll give everybody a chance, but let's go into a look ahead and final thoughts, and we're going to end with the poll results. Hopefully it's not too dreary. Final thoughts. Let's see who we're going to pick on. Daphne, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So I guess my like takeaway or tip for anyone who is just new at this and isn't comfortable, doesn't know where to start. I personally love Gemini by Google. If you just open the Google app on your phone and click the little star, you can communicate with it. And I find it extremely helpful. And I use it more often than I Google things now because it provides an answer. So I would say check that out. It's free and I love it personally. And looking ahead, I would just say, I think the power of human connection is so important and isn't going anywhere. I think human connection cannot be replaced by AI by any means. And so in terms of marketing and social media, I think that influencers will always be prevalent. And yeah, those are my takeaways.
Monica, thoughts?
I feel like the last question kind of was my, kind of final thought, but, kind of trying the tools. I'm working on this course with Osgood PD. It's about prompting. And I think that's going to be very helpful for lawyers, but, trying to understand how to make the most out of these tools. And so there are other kind of prompting courses out there, but, kind of just joining one of those and developing some of the skills around it, I think you will really benefit. Like, get started now, start develop those skills. You will really benefit for it going down the road.
Yeah. And I see that Supio just increased their donation, and now we're at 12,115 for the Denise House. Thank you so much, Pam. That was very generous of your company to be so supportive of this cause.
Thank you. I'll make sure I let everyone know, but thank you, Jerry, for doing that. I'm sure that was happening behind the scenes.
So your final thoughts, Pam?
Yeah, it's Daphne and Monica said it very well. It's just try it. This is going to be a part of our daily lives, and the sooner that we sort of lean in and realize where it can be useful and maybe where it can't, I think that that's a really strong thing to figure out. So anytime you think, oh, this is repeatable, this is mechanical, that's a good use case. Refine, talk to it like you would a person. Like, that's one of my learnings too. I mean, you can strip out all the nice words. You don't have to say please and thank you to the AI, but you get something back. Can you make this shorter? Or I was looking for this in 2 bullet points. It's really good at doing those types of tasks. So try, refine. The prompt engineering suggestion is great, and just keep learning.
And give it examples. It learns, right? No,
it does.
This is what I'm looking for. Yeah. Super insightful. I would say give it a try, right? Everybody's scared a little bit of this technology. Our results, 58% dramatic transformation, 37% moderate change. Change is coming, right? This train's coming down the track. You might as well get on it. When Daphne and I first went to a conference about 1.5 years ago, the theme was, this is when we had all the headlines, right? AI is going to wipe out the legal profession. AI is going to kill everybody. We have screenshots of the news articles. It's really outrageous, some of the articles that were coming out. So we're not going to get replaced by AI, the legal profession, but somebody using AI may replace you because they're more efficient at delivering legal services. It's going to make our services more accessible to the public, and it's going to be hopefully reduce the costs for the public. That's some of the biggest complaints we received at the family law bar, at least prior to the pandemic. It was too expensive and it took too long. And I think AI has a chance to make us more efficient. So super, super great insight. Thank you, Daphne, Pam, Monica, great discussion tonight. And we are going to wrap this up. I think Shannon's going to come back with a few updates, and look at that. Amazing. Welcome back, Shannon.
Magic. Thank you. And thank you so much to Pam and Monica for joining Daphne and Russ for this discussion. So interesting too. At the pace that everything's moving, we did this presentation or a similar presentation a few months ago with Jerry from Supio and another lawyer. And just to hear fresh perspectives, new perspectives, but also just how quickly things have been advancing, and there's a lot of new things to learn. So thank you so much for sharing your insights. And I can't believe it's already over. We've been looking forward to this event for quite a long time at our firm. And it was so nice to have all of our speakers come and have such a great turnout from the audience. So I just want to thank everyone for their contributions and participation. And we're so happy to be able to use this and share this as an opportunity for the Denise House to help build their new shelter. So thank you so much, everyone. Anything else that you want to touch base about?
I want to thank our audience for playing full out, participating in the poll, sending in the questions and answers, donating to the Denise House, everybody watching on YouTube Live. Really appreciate everybody participating and providing us with your support. If you want to join us for next year's summer, there'll be a speaker application you can fill out that will follow up with, and we're going to get show notes and surveys after this, right, Shannon?
Yes, that's right. So the survey, once you log off the webinar, you can share your feedback there. If you have a moment, we love to hear from you. As Russ mentioned, we always like to look through it, and it helps us guide, whether there's new topics or things that we can do to improve for our future events. So we'd love to hear from you, and you can do that there. And then we'll also be sending a follow-up email tomorrow with show notes from each of the presentations, so you can do a deeper dive into the different topics that were covered throughout the event.
And a special thanks to our sponsors, Scipio and Bridgeport North, Tim. And there's a lot of people behind the scenes you're not seeing on the screen. Sarah A, Nicole R, Daphne, Shannon, you did a fantastic job organizing this. So thank you everybody for making it such a great success, and have a great evening.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.